Real talk, real sweat.
Hey there, Nancy here from Real Talk, Real Sweat. This is episode number 2 that I am recording. Episode number 1 was just a quick intro that we launched a couple weeks ago. Pretty informal, just to talk a little bit about myself, what I'm doing, where I come from, what I plan, or what I'm trying to do with this podcast. So, Real Talk, Real Sweat. Very exciting. This is episode number 2. The theme of episode number 2 at Real Talk, Real Sweat is Pilates. A lot going on with Pilates these days, and it can get really confusing. So, we're going to run through a little bit about the history of where it comes from, different types of Pilates, and then what is and what isn't Pilates. So it might be a little bit controversial. Pilates is probably one of the most misused terms in exercise these days. Everyone and their brother and sister is opening up a studio these days. So you've got reformer Pilates, you've got mat Pilates, you've got Cadillac, traditional, blah, blah, all kinds of different ones. And it's getting confusing. The noise is out there with regards to what Pilates really is all about. Pilates didn't start off as a strengthening type of exercise. It started off mainly as a control, a way to rehabilitate yourself. It was slow moving, postural, very much so to align the body to make the body be in a better place. As I sit with my hunched over, there we go, much better. So that's kind of where it started as a rehabilitation process. So who's this dude, Joseph Pilates? Yes, he was true. World War One, he was rehabbing a lot of the soldiers who came in, and he found this technique to be able to move the bodies. And because they were attached to the hospital beds, and that's kind of where the machines came from, were these injured soldiers sitting in a bed recovering, how to get their bodies moving in a kind of structured position within a bed frame. But it wasn't called Pilates at the time. It was really just a form of rehabilitation for soldiers, which obviously has progressed from then. It wasn't called Pilates from Joseph Pilates until later. It was called control. Okay. Why not? Control, not chaos, was one of his formulas to this rehabilitation process that his control was for. So classical Pilates, the one that we think of, the traditional reformer, the traditional accessories that you see in some studios right now, follows up from Joseph Pilates' Controlology. It is slow, it is methodical, it is not about strength. It is about rehabilitating the body, making sure that it's aligned while kind of being strict about the moves as well. Like there's a certain set way of doing things that is your traditional Pilates. Included in that, I would categorize also Cadillac reformer, which are kind of the ones you see where it looks like they're hanging off trapeze. And there's like bars and things like this. That also falls into the traditional reformer Pilates, actual Pilates. So you see it with the fuzzy, it looks almost like a S&M or torture chamber type thing. I've tried it once. I'll talk about that in another episode. It does kind of look like a torture chamber-esque thing, but really takes the body to the next level outside of your traditional reformer that's on the floor or the other smaller boxes that you sit on and use and press, things like that. So let's talk about the machines. Let's talk about these reformer machines. It's not about making things harder for you. That's a different type of class. It's about assistance and resistance. It sounds a bit cheeseball, but I go back to the rehabilitation factor. And the Cadillac is the extension of that to take your rehabilitation without strain to the next level. You'll see springs, you'll see contraptions, you'll see boxes, you'll see leg pulleys, you'll see all these different types of things. But these springs aren't really caring about what you do. Pilates is not about ego. It kind of goes back to what original yoga used to be, as well as original Pilates. It's not about ego. It's about making your body better, making it healthier, rehabilitating, making sure the joints and the muscles, core are all aligned so that you live a healthy, longer life. Joseph Pilates would be very pleased right now with what he's seeing in some of these classes. At least I hope he is. There are some famous Pilates training facilities, and one of them is here in Toronto. It's called Stott Pilates, a very traditional format. And one of my probably my first foray into reformer Pilates was with my instructor, Sally. It was in Hong Kong. It was like pre and postnatal Pilates using the machines and some of the accessories. And she went to Toronto to be trained here at Stott because it's worldwide recognition of the traditional form of Pilates. And they're very strict about the routine, the format, and the training. So if your instructor is from Stott, you know that he or she or them, they've going to have been trained thoroughly to know the body positioning in a very strict manner. Okay, now we go into different types of Pilates, ladies and gentlemen. I love is not Pilates. I'm sorry. For those of you that are going to get angry at me, it's the reality. It is not classified as Pilates or reformer Pilates. It's an extension of Pilates. And the difference between Lagree and Pilates is Lagree is about strength, it's about pushing, it's about engaging, it's about sweating and taking it to the next level. So they have taken the Pilates traditional strict movement and extended it to the next level. So you're going to feel the strain, you're going to feel the pain, you're going to shake, you're going to push your body to a very intense level. And that's why Lagree should not be done for your first time at any reformer class. I'm sorry. I really push for private classes. The reason being is that these machines can get quite technical. You can hurt yourself. You can get injured if you push yourself too much. So I really, really believe in getting a private Pilates class to introduce yourself to either the reformer in traditional Pilates or like the mega reformer and the Lagree reformers that they have. So you get to know the machines, you get to know the buttons, the springs, the this, the that, and go through the basic rigmarole of a class. I have seen people get injured and not feel well after Lagree, but that's because they weren't listening to their body and they pushed it to the next level. I personally love Lagree. I have to be honest. I love the push, but it's not for everyone. It is not for your core and your posture. It is to build muscle and strength and build humongous core muscles. I wish, but it takes a long time. Like I've been doing about 2 years now. I've seen a tremendous difference in my strength levels, but it has taken 2 years and I go once a week. So that's not a small investment in terms of time and money. What makes a great Pilates class, whether it's Lagree, whether it's reformer, Stott, mat, it's about the instructor. Let's be honest, folks. Instructors have followings if they're good, if they're motivating, if they are consistent, if they push you, if you enjoy what they play, the music, or you enjoy their voice or what they look like or what they sound like, people are going to go back to those classes. So make sure that you find your tribe. Sounds pretty cheesy, but if you find that your tribe or your instructor that you really like to go to, stick with it because you're going to tend to stay with those classes if you enjoy the instructors. If you go to a class and you find one, oh, they're not really for me, like he was really mean or she wasn't paying attention to me, I would try another one. I would continue to try until you find the person that's going to align with your personality and what you want. And once you do, stick with it because you're going to be extremely motivated to continue on with the class. I think a lot of class retention is not necessarily about fancy this or posh that or a free smoothie. I have to be honest, I think it's 100%, well, we won't get 100%, we'll say 90% the instructor that you're going to. Just the reality. Going into a little bit about mat Pilates. So what this is doing Pilates, but without the reformers. It does use some of the accessories. It uses bands. It uses that, oh my gosh, that inner leg ring. I don't know what the hell you call it, but you squeeze it. No matter where, if you're using that like at Lagree or anywhere, like, traditional or mat, those things, I see them. I'm like, no, I don't want to use that one today, but I do because I know it's going to be good for me. The ring. And I think it's a great way to start Pilates. And in addition to the reformer, because it really has to be control of your body, using your own body weight and strength to work on core, postural, and alignment. So definitely try mat Pilates. It looks like, oh, you're on the floor doing what it's actually very difficult if done correctly. And once again, make sure that you are not feeling pain. You should not feel pain. You should feel strain, but never pain. So try out a mat Pilates near you and then mix it in with the reformer or the offshoot Lagree or this yoga lattes or, Pilates inspired classes. Now going on to the fusion classes, I'm not poo-pooing these at all. I've done some pretty hard ones and some pretty fun ones. I think this is a great way if you're getting a little bit bored and you're looking for something different, these yoga or power Pilates or something like this, generally done to music, sometimes has a routine. Usually the instructors have a ton of charisma and a great vibe in a studio that you like. And I think it's a great alternative to mix up your exercise routine because no one wants to get bored. And these types of classes are never the same. They're going to have different music, different exercises, different props they're going to use all the time. So it is an offshoot. This yoga or power Pilates or stuff like this, or like the Tracy Anderson-esque, I don't even know what you call that. It is an offshoot of Pilates, but it does fall into the same family. It was built upon the traditional foundation of Pilates and continues on to motivate people that maybe don't like traditional. It's maybe a bit boring for them or a little bit too, I would say, body centered. I'm trying to find the right word for it. That maybe, I'm not going to say bored because that's not really true. Maybe they're looking for something a little more action packed. How about that? I don't want to say Pilates is boring. That's not it at all. So, there are any dangers in, we'll say Pilates, just in general, we'll say anything. I think some of it would be overstretching, pushing your body to limits through the pain rather than listening to it. Particularly shoulders and hips, you need to be aware of when you're on the reformers, because there are some things where your legs go, whoa, or your shoulders go out like this. So you need to make sure that you are minding what your body is telling you, because dislocated this, stretch that can happen. I have found in the past where I have been an idiot and pushed myself further than I should have, it's my back. It's my lower back and hips that pay the price. And I know better. But then I'm really recovering. I need 2 or 3 days afterwards to do it. So is it worth it to miss 2 or 3 days because you pushed your body to the next level? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's my fault and that's my ego playing up again. It just happens. So Pilates done right is about longevity training. Core, alignment, strength, posture are all super important, particularly when we get older. So I love Pilates, whichever form you're going to do, either the offshoots or not. I think it's an excellent way to balance out your workout routine. I personally would not do this more than twice a week. I think I prefer to do this once a week. I do Lagree once a week. And of course, I'm doing the classes of some, when I'm doing the reviews and things like this, but I tend to do one reformer class, whatever it may be, a week, mixed in with my yoga and then mixed in with my strength training and some cardio. That's just me. But I do know some people that go 3 times a week to Lagree, but they're basically, Terminators. They're they're cyborgs. They're not real people. No, they're just really into it. Obviously, they just really love it. And that's great too for them. So you got to find your way. You got to find your own way of doing this. So here's my last take. You can love Pilates. You can love, they are different. They do different things, but it doesn't mean they can't live within the same wheelhouse. So I thought I would give you a little breakdown of the Pilates world today. Mr. Joseph Pilates obviously started this with his rehabilitation programs, and it has progressed to what it is today. And we see so many studios opening and so many instructors being certified. Do your homework to where you're going. Make sure the instructors have put in the hours to know what they're doing, and make sure, particularly if you're new, that you get that little bit of one-on-one attention so you're able to make sure you don't hurt yourself, because you're not going to want to go back if you don't enjoy it. So again, my number one suggestion, I'm an old lady, I've done lots of things. I would say my number one suggestion would be to always do a private class beforehand for a reformer. They're not cheap for sure. They can be very expensive, but find yourself a great instructor, find a location you like to go to and do 1 or 2, because is it worth getting injured or something like this, or going to a class and being so flustered because your feet are in the wrong things, or you're angled the wrong way? You don't want to be that way at all. So definitely get a private. In the end, I'll link up some of the instructors that I've worked with that I really trust, that you feel free to go to or call. I'm not getting any bonuses from them yet. One day I dream about being sponsored by all these people, but it hasn't happened quite yet. So I'll put them in the link, and check out episode 3 that's coming up in a couple weeks. The one thing I do have to say, recording these podcasts is easy. Editing them is not. So to all you podcasters out there, I have to give you some kudos, because this is not as easy as I thought it would be. But nonetheless, I'm so happy to be here. Real Talk, Real Sweat with Nancy from Sassy Sweat. Check out my website for the reviews that I'm doing, and I'm heading to New York in 2026 and hoping to start off with the east side of New York City and putting together some guides for those visiting so you can see what classes are out there for you. So have a great rest of your day. Take care. Enjoy. That's today's Real Talk, Real Sweat. I'm sure I'm looking in the wrong. See, my back hurts from doing Lagree this morning. I'm a dum-dum. I never listen. I need to listen to my body more often for sure. But I don't. That's me. Please listen to your bodies, ladies and gents. It's super important. I just sat cross-legged. Now my legs are so sore. Oh my goodness. I hope the phone wasn't shaking too much. Okay. Should I have been closer? Should I be sitting? No, it's better to sit back here, right? And I've got my little light over here. I've got a whole bunch of stuff there. Oh, again, that's the front camera because you want to look at yourself, but then you got to look at that green light. So somehow I'm going to try and look at the back camera to do it next time, but you don't know what you're looking at. So that's where, anyway, that's all for now, folks. Mr. Joseph Pilates. That's where it all started, folks. I wonder if he's still around. I don't think so. If he's World War I, his ghost is around. Don't forget, whenever you do Pilates, you need sticky socks. So those are the socks that have the little grippy plastic things on the bottom of them because firstly, you don't want to put your bare feet on there. Firstly, it's gross for you and it's gross for the next person that comes up. But it does actually help you to get the grip when you're doing the movements, particularly on the reformer machine, or if you're in the mat, say you're in a bridge or something like this, it does help sticks. Sticky socks are always, always, always very important. Mr. Joseph Pilates guy. He was pretty intense. He was a boxer. He was a gymnast. He was an anatomical body nerd. This is where Pilates came from, Mr. Joseph. So if any of you Pilates relatives are out there, I would love to hear from you because I've never seen anyone with that last name. Off topic, but very interesting nonetheless. So when you see people flailing around on machines and things like this, he'd be rolling over in his grave probably if he saw a Lagree mega reformer. That being said, Lagree mega reformers are pretty fun to exercise with, I have to be honest. See you next week or in 2 weeks because it takes me... See you in 2 weeks because it takes me forever to actually record the episode, find the time where it's quiet in the house, and then editing. I don't even know how long I'm going to be able to edit this thing. Hopefully it works out. We'll see. Okay, that's it. Bye. Real talk, real sweat.